Welcome to Embers and Echoes. This is your maybe forever host, Remy Squeaks. I am here with our lovely DM, Wes Bjornson. Say
That's me.
hi.
That's me. I'm the lovely DM, Wes Bjornson.
Wes Bjornson, also known on the internet as the one and only Tasty Pickle.
The one tasty pickle, that's me.
Oh, one. Yes. So I thought that throughout this campaign, it'd be good for you guys to just hear a little bit about who we are as people, kind of where we are sitting in the campaign, and who better to start with than the person who made this all happen, our lovely DM.
Yay.
Wesley, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, like outside of this world? I mean, other than you being my forever partner, so I know lots about you, but maybe they don't.
My name is Wes Bjornson. I have been playing D&D for like 20 years. Woo, sheesh. Aging myself. I'm also a professional arm wrestler. All these trophies and doodads back there. I also teach sumo wrestling at a judo school here in Denver, Colorado, where I live. And yeah, that's me. I'm Wes Bjornson.
Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about what started Embers and Echoes? What made you decide that all of this was going to happen?
Originally, we ran a game before this, and I ran that for you and your friends. My old lady and her two buddies, and that quickly evolved into a full campaign with like a host of 10 players or something. And that ended in such a climactic and satisfying way, I think, for everybody, that everybody was like, we should just stream the next one because that was dope. And I had thought about streaming D&D for a long time, so why not, right? Let's put it out there.
Excuse me, not 12 players. We weren't crazy our first campaign. You played for, I think, 7. I don't know. You're just such a good DM. We just kept adding players. We just kept going a couple months and going, hey, how would you feel if so-and-so joined?
Right.
Speaking of which, what were the things that made you ask people to come sit down at your table? What was like the thing you were looking for?
I run a creepy, like spooky dooky kind of game. And one thing you can't do is scare people who are creepy. I'm creepy. So if I had a table full of me's, nothing I ever did would be scary. I'd get no reactions out of anybody. So one of the big things I look for in player is like they don't like horror movies. They're not really horror movie adjacent. They have like a sunny disposition. Those people are easy to scare. And that's what I like. So that's really what I look for.
You have led all of my friends into into this belief that they are safe with you, which is good because there is a lot of trust when you're running a campaign, like the folk grimdark campaigns that you do run. What's some advice you give to people looking to run a similar campaign? What would you give them for how to pick your players and what conversations you should have with players?
Yeah, what I do and what I would suggest a new DM who wants to run horror are not the same thing. I know these players pretty well. I've known most of these people for a long time. I know the things that are off limits. You'll never see spiders in my game, for example. But some people, especially new DMs, can cross those lines by accident. So always have especially at the beginning of a campaign, have a conversation about your expectations and their expectations. Tell them, like, I'm going to be running a pretty fucking spooky dooky game. Can you handle that? Some players might not want, kids to be involved, or they don't want a kid to die in the game, or they don't want spiders, or, whatever thing. So it just helps to have some kind of understanding about that before you get in.
And as a player, it's always good to advocate for yourself. Like I know a player in our campaign who has off-limits rules and was able to communicate those to you early on. So that way, we don't want to touch on funny parts. We don't want to make people uncomfortable. This is still a game for everybody, but not advocating for yourself is always going to be not fun.
It's a key to disaster. It's a 50-50 thing.
Right.
It's on me to respect your boundaries. It's on you to let me know your boundaries. So,
yep, for sure.
Yeah.
I felt like last campaign, we started in kind of the creepy crawly place, but we ended up in a place that was a little bit different than that. And that has very much informed where you want to go with this campaign, where you've said it's very creepy crawly forward. Do you want to talk about kind of what happened and why it's created?
Yeah, this is a problem in all Dungeons and Dragons because that system is not. It can handle creepy, but it's not made for creepy.
Yeah.
And what happens is your players get too powerful to be scared of anything. A level 10 wizard is a bad motherfucker, and he's not going to be scared of a bump in the attic. He's not going to be scared of a ghost in the cemetery. You're gonna have to really get creative and weird to scare that guy. A party full of those guys, it's just not gonna happen. So this game, that the first game very quickly got out of hand, and they were just way too powerful. So I had to change the vibe. This game, I'm gonna keep a much tighter leash on power scaling, and also I've learned that you got to find interesting ways to separate players from the group, or make it so that their powers aren't so comforting, things like that. So you're going to see a lot of that in this game.
Okay. All right. One of the things that we did see when you pulled a player apart is a moment where we saw you pull Fish apart in a way that we, as the players, don't even know what happened in that room. I don't even think Fish knows what happened in that room.
That's true.
What led you to a railroading moment where you got to control that narrative of having Fish alone and Fish isn't even aware of what's happening?
Well, first let's talk about that word railroading, because a lot of DMs are very weird about railroading, the concept of it. I'm not. If I need something to happen, I'm gonna force my hand on it. A lot of players that play with me don't notice it, and I'm lucky for that. But even the ones that do, they tend to they understand I'm offering you something really cool here, so I got to take the storytelling reins for a few minutes. Just go with it. And if you guys do this with your DMs at home, if you do that, if you lend your DM a little bit of power, you're going to get way more satisfying results out of your storylines, your plots, your hooks. Let your DM tell a story without screaming railroading every 5 minutes. Trust me.
Especially in episode 1, where, everyone comes in with, this is who I am, this is my motivation. But when you brought us together, it was very much everyone's motivation is now changed. You have now set up for a required now motivation for the group, right, where we wouldn't have had one before, right, but also required you to pull a couple strings and make a PD, make a deal.
Yeah, because the reality is, if I didn't have little PD Fizzywink force you guys into some teamwork, there is no reason for this group of people to be together. One of you is a grand princess from the Nine Hells, and another one of you is a gnome that drinks tea a lot. You know what I mean? So these are very different people. So I needed a initiating event to kind of push the group together.
Yeah, and I think it went over well. I think we do have, and I think in our group, a tendency to want to fight, and so sometimes hot starting us into a pact deal does help us get over the initial, well, 100%. Absolutely not. I, as much as I didn't like to meet PD in the first place, I did understand his purpose and why we needed to say yes. I do think that some things that happened in that room are going to have longer consequences that are unforeseen.
I wonder if that's true. You know what I wonder is why you guys? What PD Fizzywink saw about this random group of people around the world? I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens with that.
Well, what viewers won't know, and what only players currently do, is that we all held private session zeros, as we were very excited for a new campaign. Wes brought us in thinking that we were going to just talk about our characters and ran us through private session zeros, with each group going through and changing the room as they went along. I do wonder what those consequences have to do.
That's an even...
Because it wasn't like we all got the right answer, and that's the reason why PD wants us, because we all know Alexi loves Alexi.
Nobody
more
loves
than
Alexi like Alexi loves Alexi. You gotta learn to say his name 6 times in a row for that sentence.
Alexi and Alexi and Alexi and love.
Right. I'll run the viewers down because they'll never see session 0. So what happened is they started in a dark closet, and when they opened the door to that closet, they were in a foyer to like an old church or a funeral home, but there was no door out. All they could see was a bowl of water, a note, and a big door. And once they walk in the door, they find a wedding procession, and people are frozen in place. And a little green man walks out from behind a tankard of ale and introduces himself as Petey Fizzywink. And he says, essentially, 2 of these people in this room are in love. When you figure out who, you write down on that note over there. And there are lots of red herrings, and it was interesting to see all the players and how the different ways they'd investigate. And I don't even know if the players know this, but what the first guy did affects how the second guy got the room, and so on and so forth. And so the first person to run their session 0 had a different experience than the last person because so many people had augmented the room and changed the rules, and it's just something interesting that happened.
I was your first session, so I think I was pretty hands-off room removal. I was more upset that you took my stuffed raccoon to be focused on anything that you were doing in that room. I just couldn't understand why Tatterbury wasn't with me. Which, don't take him again. That it'll just be better for everybody if Fennec gets to keep her stuffed raccoon.
We will see.
But I am excited to see because we haven't asked PD why we were in that room, what we were doing there. All we know was each one of us entered it. I don't even know if we've had the conversation between players to players that how we met PD the first time to even discuss that conversation. So maybe that's something we'll see in episode 2. Who knows?
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Let's talk about where you get your inspiration. Like, where's the thing that brings the little light bulb above your head that brings stuff into our campaigns?
Inspiration for me comes in a bunch of different places. Like I keep saying, I run a spooky boy, creepy, grimdark world. I always have. Those things are interesting to me. And I take inspiration from the obvious places, horror movies, horror comics, stuff like that. But other grimdark worlds are very inspirational to me. If you guys aren't watching Weirdwood, on Oxventure, it's amazing. And you owe it to yourself to go check it out. Take a lot of inspiration from those guys. I also like children's cartoons, because if you take a child's cartoon and you warp it just a little bit, now you're in the uncanny valley, and that's when shit gets a little spooky. So those are my big places for inspiration.
Well, I'll be looking out for some Hunter x Hunter references then, just to see if I can
They're already in there.
Ooh, interesting. Interesting. I'm gonna have to go back and think about that one.
Yep.
So yeah, we've met 2 of your little creepy crawlies so far. I would say right now we're probably classifying Fizzywinks as a bad guy.
Okay.
Mort maybe as the biggest bad guy. The way you talk to Fenna makes me feel like he's the biggest bad guy you can throw at me, but
Mort is a sweetie patootie. He's a cutie patootie. And he just wants to love. He wants to make you just like him.
Yeah, that makes me physically uncomfortable on a lot of levels. What made Mort? What made Mort?
In all of my NPCs, there's a little bit of me, and there is a little bit of a weird, like fat, creepy, gooey little man inside me, who's like a little bit obsessed with people. Can be a little crude sometimes. That's Mort. The visuals for Mort are 100% inspired by Baron Wormwood. If you guys follow him on Instagram, I think they may be trans, so I'm going to use they, thems. If you follow this person on Instagram, you're going to see a direct inspiration for Mort. Baron Wormwood is amazing. Everything they do, everything they touch is so creepy and so unique and so inspiring. I encourage you to go check them out on Instagram.
You can handle the goo and creep. Yeah, Mort freaks me out.
Good.
Wasn't expecting Mort and I to be so close.
Originally, it wasn't you.
Oh, good. Want to explain why?
So Mort's original obsession was Cal.
Oh.
Cal's this beautiful elven bard who's kind of worldwide known. And Mort saw Cal first. And if you go back and watch, you can even watch Mort start to like, okay, you could be the one. I could be into this. And then Finna walks down the stairs and his eyes shift. And you can watch the visage drop. So that was more your fault than Mort's, really.
Gross. Yeah, I had this feeling when we were in that room that we were missing something. And I felt like no one had done an active investigation check, but I was, as a wolf, kind of stuck doing smell checks. So I had to wait till everyone had left the body before I could even get access to it. And on me for staying in that room too long and then walking down the stairs like a princess. I guess got Mort all happy.
It just made you the one, that's all.
Oh, thanks. I think also part of you enjoys throwing stuff like that at me.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're my old lady, so like I can get away with being a little creepier toward you. You know what I mean?
That's not the first creepy NPC that you've had come after me. One sang me a song, whole song.
It's very true.
All about me.
You get a point of inspiration if you remember his name.
Oh gosh. Sneaky Pete.
Sneaky Pete. Yep.
Sneaky Pete. Huh. Give me that point of inspiration. I will be using this. Yeah. Wes, in our first campaign, we joked that it'd be really fun to have a musical, and for a week straight, he locked himself in this game room. Like, seriously, for a week straight. Wouldn't talk to me, like, wouldn't come up for air. Mm-hmm. And we get in, and it's a musical. Like, no one had any idea that it was going to be a musical. And we just walked in this town, and we're stuck in this musical time loop.
I wrote an entire musical. The music, I sang, I recorded, like, multiple layers of vocals. It was a whole thing. And I know the man in town who knows.
He knows the man. He knows the man.
It was fabulous. It was fabulous. I so hope at some point in this campaign we do have a musical coming out of you.
You never know. You never know.
We do try to demand it. It's either that or you're gonna have to give us like a ballroom scene because the fans demand it.
I guess we'll wait and see.
Yeah. You want to tell us a little bit about that map of yours? You got a cool new map. This is brand new for this campaign.
I did create a new map for this campaign. Unfortunately, I will not be telling you or the audience about it because things are going to shift. Things are going to change. The map, believe it or not, may play a bigger role than you think in this game.
All right, so everyone save a picture of the map now. Everybody on the campaign, make sure you have a current map because we're not doing this thing with the Pantheon all over again. Last campaign, we had a Pantheon that was ever changing because there was gods being killed off all the time. And no one had an accurate Pantheon by the end of it. So we're going to just need saving renditions. No, I think at one point I had a page in my good notes that was just striked out for everyone who was dead. And then anyone who came in was like written in like scribbles on the side and just striked out if they died too.
I love it.
When you're in a god killing campaign, keeping a Pantheon apparently is the hard part.
Yeah, it's a little harder. Remy Squeaks, I'm almost done with my apple juice. Do you know what that means?
You know what that means. It means we gotta go because it can't be without apple juice. Right. One last thing. What's the thing you have to have for every campaign session? What's the snack? What's the food? What's the item? I already know what it is, but
I'm curious what you think it is. Let's hear it.
You associate Dungeons and Dragons with buffalo dip. I don't know why. I think it's because other campaigns have made you buffalo dip around the table.
100%.
And so you're like real dialed in. But I'm lactose intolerant, so I can't eat your food, but I do make every Sunday his own personal buffalo dip. And if you're ever wondering at the where the intro is, where like we're all sitting in like the starting soon screen, it's probably because he's gobbling down some buffalo dip for ya.
Yeah,
To pregame some buffalo dip.
it's a problem. And if I ever start the game and it's in my beard, you mind your own damn business.
We'll tell ya. We'll tell ya. We'll just like a little chat ya.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Wes Bjornson. That's Remy Squeaks. We hope you join us on Echoes and Embers every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys just keep it spooky.
Bye.